This is the Umbrella Academy on TV Podcast Industries, and we're discussing the Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episode 3, Pocket Full of Lightning.
I was being held captive by the Sparrows.
What?
Wait, did none of you notice? Of course.
Yeah,
we're
oh my
just
God.
happy you're home safe and sound.
Stop lying.
Oh,
We're so
yeah.
worried.
Okay, nice.
Did they hurt you?
Who, the Sparrows? God, no, not at all. Excellent hosts. Really quite charming, actually. Oh, and you should see their gym. Outstanding. I really think we've got these guys all wrong.
Says the guy they kidnapped.
Welcome, fellow students of the Umbrella Academy. Yes, we are TV Podcast Industries, and we're discussing the Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episode 3, Pocket Full of Lightning. I am Chris, and I'm filled with joy and brimming with discussions, points, and I'm joined by my illustrious academic alumni co-hosts.
Yes, I'm one of your co-hosts, Derek.
Welcome, fellow Brollies. I am one of your other hosts, John. Yes.
Welcome back. We've been talking about lots and lots of stuff over the last couple of weeks, haven't we, guys?
Some could say too much, but some could say just enough. It is whether you're a half full or half empty type of milk drinker.
Well, let's put it this way. For anybody who's not subscribed to our main feed on tvpodcastindustries.com, you may not have gotten all the podcasts we've done, but we did our finale of Miss Marvel. We did our finale of The Boys. We did the first 2 episodes of Umbrella Academy and Thor Love and Thunder from the cinema. So that's a lot.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got a lot more coming. You've got the rest of the Umbrella Academy. You've got The Sandman.
Oh, yes.
Exclusively on Netflix. You've got She-Hulk coming to Disney Plus. The
Single female lawyer.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming. It's all going to be great.
Yeah, when John heard the full title of She-Hulk Attorney at Law and that it was a comedy series, all he's got in his head is the Futurama clip of Bender singing Single Female Lawyer Doing Lawyer Things.
But it is going to be that.
It's
going to be great. This time, the single female lawyer is big and green, and you wouldn't like her when she's angry.
Exactly.
I'll have to try and remember the full song that Bender introduces the Ally McBeal kind of rip-off or parody on Futurama. But it is Single Female Lawyer.
You've got a few weeks to learn that one, John, so don't worry.
Yes, you do. But you know what you don't have? You don't have time, because we are diving straight into episode 3, because you know what? We are recording this around the same time as SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con. There's going to be plenty of news, plenty of discussions, plenty of everything else. So, do you know what? We need to get through Umbrella Academy so we can get to all the other fun stuff that is coming down the lines.
Yeah.
If you're joining us for the first time and you're jumping straight in episode 3, what are you doing? There's 2 other episodes for you to listen to. But if you are joining us and you've not subscribed, please head on over to our website at tvpodcastindustries.com, where you can subscribe to each and every Sparrow Academy or Umbrella Academy styled podcast catchers. Give us an old like, give us an old share, give us an old rating and review. Tell everyone you love us, and we appreciate you very much. And if you like what you hear, you can head on over to patreon.com/tvpodcastindustries, where for any monthly amount you can support us, or for one-off supporting, you can also go to buymeacoffee.com/TVPI. But we also have another way for you can support us. Yes, you can send us your feedback and have your thoughts read out, or your dulcet tones listened to on this podcast. Yes, you can send us your feedback at tvpodcastindustries.com. You can go to our socials, which are everywhere, but you can also find them on tvpodcastindustries.com and leave us your feedback there. Or you can go to the website and just send us your voicemail. With all that said and done, we have a lot to discuss, because I have a pocket full of something. I have a pocket full of lightning. Derek, do you want to tell us who gave us what and why I'm so electrically charged in the pants area?
In the pants area? That's it.
Yes, I have a pocket full of lightning.
Thank God you're sat down.
Weird place to be charged after this episode. But anyway, the show was created for television by Steve Blackman, developed by Jeremy Slater, based on the comic series by Jared Way and Gabriel Ba. This episode was directed again by Cheryl Dunye, who directed episode 2, and the teleplay for this episode was written by Robert Askins. This is his 3rd episode of Umbrella Academy, and 2 more to go this season as well. So an old Academy alumni himself.
Yeah, no, lots of people getting in on the action here. Excellent stuff.
Absolutely. John, do you want to tell us what they gave us with your synopsis for Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episode 3, Pocket Full of Lightning?
Sure. Number 5 begins to worry about his retirement as he explains the grandfather paradox to his family as a lovesick Luther rejoins the Umbrella siblings. On the trail of the paradox, 5 reluctantly teams up with Lila to solve the time paradox, realizing neither of their briefcases work. Meanwhile, Allison and Viktor negotiate with the Sparrows, where Allison falsely claims they have Marcus, and the Sparrows falsely claim they have the briefcase. But Allison's increasingly reckless behaviour begins to worry Viktor. Klaus confronts Reginald Hargreaves about their mothers, whom Reginald confirms he did not kill, and they end up bonding with a bowl of ice cream. But Klaus also learns that the Sparrows keep Reginald medicated to keep him docile, and he teaches Reginald his former rehab therapy tricks on how to hide the pills without swallowing. The Sparrows discover the Kugelblitz in the basement, but head to the Hotel Obsidian to confront the Umbrella Academy. As the fight ensues, the Umbrella siblings are almost defeated when an unexpected intervention from Lester Pocket, unleashing a devastating burst of energy, killing Alfonso and Jamie as Luther leaps and saves Sloane from the burst. In the aftermath of the devastating attack from Lester, Viktor recognizes him as Harlan Cooper, the son of his former partner, Sissy.
So Harlan is back, and we get closure on that little ball of light that went into him back in season 2, right? When Viktor saved his life back in season 2. So that's really good. I remember we were all looking at that scene when Harlan was brought back to life, going, "Oh, I wonder what that means."
Yeah.
So interestingly, he is another super-powered being here.
We all knew that, right? Like the straight away. It was like, oh, they ended the last season with a boy who was levitating a sparrow, and then this season there's an old man with powers.
Mm-hmm. With his hair parted the same way as the kid did 50 years ago or 60 years ago.
But still, because he was aged up and he was called Lester Pocket, I mean, just seeing, the sort of breadcrumbs throughout wasn't totally obvious. I mean, certainly not for me. No, but I mean, okay, different names. So
it's true.
Not really focusing on anything to say that he's Harlan. I mean, if there was the Sparrow thing that he was twirling at the end of last season, sort of in that briefcase, fine. But sandwiches and cassette tapes, it was just, who is this? Yeah. What's he about?
He's just obsessed with ASMR. That's all it is.
To kind of have that sort of resolved here.
Yeah.
Because I thought, it could be a danger to anyone judging by that energy burst. But, for me, it felt like he was potentially a danger, an unknown danger to the Umbrella Academy.
A hunter is what he looked like.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. But let's get into further discussions on this episode. So, you guys all know what it is. We each chose a point for this episode. We're going to discuss it. They're probably our big moments, if you will. So, gentlemen, I ask you first and foremost, Derek, what was your big moment for season 3, episode 3? A pocket full of lightning.
I am definitely going with pills, bills, and nom-noms. Not only one of my favourite lines from the episode, but I just love seeing Klaus and Reginald Hargreaves together. This is a great pairing of characters, particularly because of Reginald's reaction to someone like Klaus. He really doesn't like anybody that steps outside the margins of life. That's why he didn't choose the Umbrella Academy. We heard that earlier on. He chose a completely different group of people as the Sparrow Academy, as his proteges, I guess. But there's lots of interesting reveals here. The reason why Klaus is here is because he wants to find out who killed his mom and the moms of all the rest of the Umbrella Academy. So he suspects this Reginald, but finds out Reginald is in a really bad place. the kids have taken over the asylum, effectively, or the inmates have taken over the asylum, I guess would be the term. They just started to drip feed him with pills, and put him in a place where he effectively just gets fed, gets given his pills, and he just signs away all of his money to the Sparrow Academy. That's why they're so much more in control than he is. Thought that was a really interesting reveal.
Yeah, I mean, we got a hint to that a bit earlier on in the season, where he comes into their gym and effectively, no authority being given to him at all in comparison to him as the founder of the Umbrella Academy. Yeah. So yeah, it was good to kind of get that that stamp here, and also to see Klaus infiltrating into the Sparrow Academy via the sewers in his frogman kind of outfit, I thought was just hilarious. I mean, it's classic Klaus, isn't it? On land, in the middle of a city, he has his snorkel and goggles, and, about to head down into the sewer, which we learn is the way he used to get in late at night after going on a bender and taking all his pills, of course. So I thought that was it's just really good fun. But
it also allows him to give some skills and impart some knowledge for Reginald. If you don't want to take the pills, there's a trick I learned when I went into rehab. You can just put it under your tongue. Everybody thinks you've swallowed it, and then you can spit it out. So really good. But there's also some great fun lines in here. I love when Reginald, of course, not remembering who Klaus is. It's been 50 years in his time, but not remembering Klaus. He goes, "You're the drunk one, aren't you?" And Klaus kind of going slightly offended, saying, "No, I'm the spiritual one, man." Which may even be worse for Reginald. Yep. I'm not too sure whether he can put his finger on a spiritual person as opposed to the drunk that he thinks Klaus is. Also love the moment over the ice cream where Reginald says to him, "Would you like a bowl of ice cream? Would that shut you up?" Really good. But yeah, so I just really like this moment between the two of them. It's really good to see these two characters together. Again, I love odd pairings in shows, and these two couldn't be odder. But there is a closeness that develops between the two of them. I like, Reggie does say in the end, "I'm starting to get to like you." So yes, really, really nice moments.
Yeah. And I'm very interested to see what happens with Reginald, because we do remember that last season it was revealed he is a full-on skin-pulling-off lizard alien.
Ah, yes, of course. He had that moment where he slaughtered everybody that was at the meeting with him back in the 60s. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
A massive big alien underneath that exterior. But obviously those pills are dampening all that down. He could probably have taken out all of the Sparrow Academy if he wanted to. It does explain why he looks the same as he did in the 60s, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I think hopefully that is something that we do get explored further. With the trick that Klaus has shown him, he maybe regains some of his faculties, and we are kind of exposed to Sir Reginald that we have met in previous occasions. The patriarch of this family, of this academy, if you will, the principal of the academy. Yes. He was a force in the last season, so I'm hoping this continues. But you're right, the odd couple pairing of these two is always great, and God, I love Klaus. I still do. It's just so much fun.
He's so good. Even having these two characters just sitting on the couch watching TJ Hooker on TV.
It is, isn't it? It's just the odd hookup, isn't it? I think that's what this series does really well, because and the pitter patter of the exchanges between them. It suddenly came to me that they write in quiet lines or chats or back chats that characters do and speak to themselves as they've just come out of a conversation with something. It just adds to that conversation, because it's basically either just trashing that conversation or trying to sort of reinforce that they're not that bad. The one I really enjoyed in this episode, as well as this, was with Diego and his son, Stanley, who are kind of, it's almost like Diego's trying to bond with him over a security assessment of where the Sparrows might infiltrate into the Hotel Obsidian. And he's trying to get Stanley out of the hotel, and he's like, go and buy some donuts, stay away from the hotel. And Stanley's response is, but I'm allergic to donuts. Like, Diego's just can't kind of quite comprehend that. And he goes, you're allergic to fun. And he goes, no, the gluten, asshat. And it's just like, really, really good fun. And then Stanley, he takes the money and he heads away, and sort of walking off, Diego just quietly says to him, I'm good at this. He's trying to like reinforce that he's a good father. He's actually doing things right, even though it's a complete nightmare that's happening. And it's just all these little quiet back chats to them and speaking to themselves. I think is really good fun.
I think Luther seems to do it quite a lot. It's probably because he spent so much time on the moon. He can only talk to himself, so he does that quite a lot. I've noticed it definitely in this episode particularly, but that was my point. That was my big moment from the episode. John, do you want to give us yours?
Yeah. Number 5 is worried about his retirement and ends up checking in with Lila. First off, I do want to do the shout out for the Grandfather Paradox public service announcement from the commission that they did, which was really, really good. So good. Yeah, really nicely done. And, linking it to the fact that their mothers are all dead, and so they shouldn't technically exist. Hence the paradox.
But I like how brutal that is as well. Like it's basically explaining the plot to Back to the Future, right? If things had gone wrong. But there's lots of brutality in there with a guy going back in time to murder somebody.
Exactly. And it's kind of like, don't be like Elnor, and kill your grandfather way too early so that your mother will not be born, and therefore effectively you won't be. But so I really like that kind of the commission sort of public service announcement and the guidelines for the temporal anomaly. But I just love seeing number 5 and Lila having to come together, because it just immediately boils down to a huge fight where she's just gotten out the bath. And they're fighting around, but you see Lila's smile as he enters into the bathroom. And she's just she's salivating for this fight and just throws the knife at him. There's lotion involved, knives, towels, all the time while Lila's effectively naked. So I really, really like this, but ultimately, they're working together, but again, it's all the backhand comments to one another, and that ultimately they realize that they've got to work together, because both their commission briefcases are not working, which is ultimately, as number 5 says, it's impossible that is the case. And so they have to team up to utilize 5's power, which I thought was quite neat. And he has to trust her because she's going to mimic him in order to get enough power so they can make the jump. And, he basically says that, and she takes offense, and he goes, well, there's honesty in white hot hatred. What a great line. But I love these two. I love the dynamic of, the old man in the schoolboy uniform and then Lila, the, slightly unhinged, psychotic who will do anything for a fight with him.
Absolutely.
So really love this scene. And of course, ultimately they do manage to jump to the commission headquarters, which is looking pretty beaten up. I love that number 5 thinks they may have gone back to the Ice Age and he's gotten all the coordinates wrong until she kind of tells him, look over here, numbnuts,
behind you.
You've got this sort of derelict commission building. And so, I guess the ball of energy, the paradox, has effectively made its way to the commission as well.
I guess so. Yeah, it was. There is some great moments with the two of them. Really, really enjoyed it. You're right. That fight sequence where you have Lila's smile, because this is a great adversary for her, and you kind of forget because they haven't aged her up at all. She is 10 years out or 12 years out, because the full age of Stanley. She's 12 years since she's seen all of these people. So her looking at 5, she's kind of going, oh yes, I get to have another go at this guy. Like, she really dislikes him, but they really dislike each other. And I love that she set him on fire as well. I thought that was really good fun. I don't know. It's like as if she sacrificed one of the briefcases just to play a practical joke on him.
Exactly.
And going, well, we still have another opportunity, even though this could mean the end of the world, and having 2 briefcases to test probably would have been better for that.
Yeah. And like in terms of that difference in age, it's interesting. There's that moment where Diego is trying to offload Stan back onto her, and she's like, no, you're catching up on the 12 years. But, where she's saying, I have no relationship with you. It's been 12 years. I've slept with other people.
Many.
Other than you and this kid, this is the only link really here. I've moved on. And there is a nice moment as well with number 5 saying to her, he actually might be the only one that cares enough for you, So I liked how that kind of played into this as well. So maybe there's a bit of grudging respect between these two, but ultimately at its heart, it is white hot hatred. I guess, and it's really fun to see. I love these two together.
Yep. Yeah, another good pairing of odd couples there in the episode.
Oh, just the best. Like, it's just the two of them more and more, I think, are going to be the ones that I will have kind of that I want to see, because it's just the mutual hatred. And it's just, but again, also Lila is a character who just, I really enjoy spending time with because of the sassiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anyone who's listened to any of our podcasts know that I love a good sassy comeback. And this is just perfect.
Yeah. I also like just the basis of the character as well. The fact that she can mimic anybody else's powers. So no matter who she's in the room with, I love that in that first episode where she was mimicking all the powers of the Sparrows in order to steal the briefcase back. She takes 3 or 4 of their different powers, which was really cool. And then this episode, obviously, she's taken 5's ability to blink to be able to fight against him. I love that that's a really even battle between the two of them. Really good fun. Really good fun.
Yes. Speaking of battle, I think I'll jump in here with my point for this episode. Because it is quite a fun ending. It is that the Sparrows versus the Brollies in a lobby with a lead pipe. Or I should say with an exploding old man.
Or a Molotov.
Or a Molotov. Oh, God, the Molotov. That was fun.
Can I make them?
I really enjoyed this. This was a fun one. It's like, again, it's what you want to see. Like, it's the X-Men versus the Brotherhood of Mutants. It's always, it's just like 2 teams. Yeah. 2 tribes go to war. Yeah. If you will. It's just a fun aspect. But then it does very much in the standard Umbrella Academy kind of aspect not go the way you're expecting it to go.
Of course not. Because it's all set up exactly as you say. It's set up with this really strict regime. They all come in their full X-Men type uniforms, fully trained, walk into the room. They've arrived 10 minutes early for the appointment. The Umbrella Academy were all sitting at the bar having a drink, waiting for the time to tick down. They all come out, and instantly the Sparrow Academy look at them going, where's the rest of them? They're like, they'll turn up soon. The rest of them will be here soon. Completely disorganized versus perfectly machine organized almost.
Well trained.
Yes.
Military-esque. And for me, it was cute to see Luther saving Sloane. Like, the death of Alphonse and Jamie was not expecting that.
Yeah, no,
like, they were 2 characters that I assumed we would see straight towards up until the end almost, where you would get like Jamie using more of her venom powers. Wanted to fully understand the ins and outs of Alphonse. Just to understand his droopy face and the we talked about it previously, the slightly strange aspects of how his powers work.
Yeah, because you'd expect if he's getting hit with a punch, or if he's getting hit with this blast from Lester or from Harlan, that the blast would rebound back.
Yes,
if the powers work the way we've been told they work, but they didn't.
Nope.
So,
oh
well,
exactly. That's what I was like. I think perhaps they didn't. And again, I'm nitpicking. I've already said I really enjoyed this scene and enjoyed like how it's gone, but I'm nitpicking in that. Yeah, I don't think they fully understood. I think it's like, oh, cool. If you hit him, you get the punch back, for example.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, what about a knife cut? Or what about a blast from electric? Like, just didn't think it fully through.
Yeah.
But this one is like, okay, well, look, we're going to take this annoying chess piece of power off the board. Let's just move him over here to the dead pile, and then we don't have to worry about it. But this is cool. It was a fun way to do it. You see Sloane, we see the death, we see what's remaining of the Sparrows run away, and we do get the reveal of Lester Pocket.
Yes, absolutely, as Victor recognises him.
Yes.
AKA Harlan Cooper. Yeah. No, really good to get that reveal for sure. Like, it'll be interesting now to see how that goes with the next episode that we're covering. But I think the other side of this for me that I really liked, I was kind of pleased they took out Alfonso and Jamie in that sense. But it's quite shocking because I was thinking there would be all, the parity between the Umbrellas and the Sparrows all the way through this. But I really enjoyed that, Luther does his heroic, save of Sloane because, actually this episode has some really nice, cute Luther moments and really funny Luther moments. Just after he's coming back from having had sex with Sloane on the ceiling, the gravity sex. I just love how, he pinches someone's flower and the lady's like, what are you doing? Give me that back. And then he's kind of, it's almost like singing in the rain, he's swinging around the lamp and so on, but then he's all happy and smiley and bouncy. And then there's the hobo vomiting in the park, as he goes to get to the stand, and you get, another energy pulse here, but also where he's making classically the mixtape where there's Lionel Richie and Phil Collins, and Diego's like, are you making a mixtape? So I love seeing that little interaction with the offense and defense of the Academy, Diego and Luther.
Absolutely. As an Irish person, John, how can you not call out Krista Berg?
That's true. And Krista Berg, there was Krista Berg.
Of course. And singing just like Luther, we have Chris over on the other side of of our podcast here. There is also the one thing that you have to mention about Luther as well. Some really great scenes in the episode, but him arriving back and the entire Umbrella Academy looking at him going, hi. It's like, I got kidnapped. I was taken hostage for a day.
Exactly.
And they're all like, oh, yeah, sure.
Okay,
I'm glad you're okay. Yeah.
For you. Yeah.
That's it. It's really good fun. He has a really nice, because he's been away, there's that really nice moment and gesture with Victor as well. That he wants to hold a party for him. So it was really good. But I mean, it's ultimately
to make sure that he knows he's loved.
Exactly.
And I love Diego going, look, Victor, you're loved, right? And Victor goes, yeah. And they go, right, that's it. That's the party.
No, I know, exactly. It's just, the interactions are really good, but it just adds to the heroic save of Sloane because, he does that. It's in front of his brothers and sisters. It's in front of the Sparrows as well. And she's technically, still there. The others, Ben, Christopher, and, Faye have managed to escape out of the hotel. So
although, Christopher did get knocked out and dropped to the floor as well. So he did get a part of the blast, but did survive.
Yes.
We see him powering up to leave as well. Yeah. But, an interesting one. So they've lost now 3 members are dead of their group. Yeah. Yeah. So it's quite a lot in a group of 7, right?
Yep, they are no more. They are deceased. Yeah. They are not with the living.
They have ceased.
They are within the Kugelblitz. They are parrots. Monty Python reference for anyone.
Of course. I do want to just quickly mention the start of that battle, just to reiterate. I absolutely love Stanley running in with the Molotov, saying effectively he wants to be part of the gang, wants to take part in the fight, and wants to throw in the Molotov, and then lets it drop on the ground, almost burning down the hotel. Brilliant way to introduce Diego's kid there at the start of that. Really good fun.
But I think that's the end of our major points. Gentlemen, any notes for this episode?
Yes. I love the little reference to Cobra Kai with Stanley doing his practicing his karate kicks in the background. That was a nice little touch.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, really, really good. Yep. And also we do see Grace telling Ben and Faye that Marcus isn't coming back. God has taken him. They have actually now seen the Kugelblitz.
So that was my final note. Like, that was literally just a very quick mention, which is they're aware of the Kugelblitz. The Kugelblitz is aware of them. Kugelblitz is God. I need more on the Kugelblitz.
Definitely.
But it's just a fun one. It's like kind of, okay, the Kugelblitz. Yes, this is... I think we know who our real big bad is.
Well, that's it. And they also, you know, they're aware actually before they head over to the hotel that Marcus, that they might not quite understand what Grace is saying, but she does say that God has taken him. So they could just be going, because they don't have any respect for Grace. So they could just be dismissing it as crazy talk from the robot mum, you know, but ultimately, they do find the energy ball there with Grace praying, and it's as they're planning a new order for the Sparrows as well. So that's the other, you know, there's ambition and Machiavellian type discussions between these two happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, look at you with the big words there.
I know.
He did go to Oxford. He is a doctor and went to Oxford, so he's allowed to use big words.
I'm a doctor.
When the doctor is in class, he takes us to school.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And what better way to do it during the Umbrella Academy podcast, of course. One of the notes, just because I forgot to mention it in the conversations between Klaus and Reggie, when Reginald falls asleep, while Klaus is watching on, he does mouth the word oblivion. We hear him say it audibly. The reason why I mention it is just because the hotel they're in is the Hotel Obsidian, based on the comic book series. It's Hotel Oblivion, the comic book. So there is a connection there. So I wonder why he was saying the word oblivion.
Yeah. So there may be a connection there with the hotel with Reggie.
There might be. He'd hate us calling him Reggie as well, wouldn't he?
I know, I love it.
But maybe he'd give us some ice cream to shut us up.
Maybe.
But gentlemen, is that the end of the notes?
It certainly is.
With that, John, what is your final score for this episode?
I kind of really enjoyed this. I think it's another good episode for me. I'd give this 4 pills, bills, and nom noms out of 5. I just really, really enjoyed the whole banter. It's just escalating almost to another level in a sense, whether it's between Klaus and Reggie, Number 5 and Lila, or whether it's between Diego and his son, Diego and Luther, Luther's kind of crazy in love stuff, Allison getting a little bit kind of militant here, and having then the reveal of Lester Pocket as Harlan, which is nice, yeah,
great.
So
episode.
really good, and plus, 2 of the Sparrows gone, so 3 down and 4 to go.
Yeah.
In the scheme of things. So, 4 pills, bills, and nom-noms out of 5.
Excellent.
Nom.
Excellent. Derek, what did you think of this?
Yeah, really good episode. Really enjoyed this. It's cracking along. We said when we were covering season 2 that season 2 was far better than season 1, and season 3, now that all of these characters are really well known to us, it's settled into this kind of rhythm really quickly, and I'm loving spending time with these characters again. Enjoying chatting about them as well. It's they've been really good fun, and yes, like still my favourite.
Agreed.
Oh, my favourite's Diego.
Oh, of course, yes.
But
he was last season as well. So
he was as well. Yeah. I love Klaus as well, but to be honest, I'm really connecting him with Luther actually as well.
Yes, Luther's had a great season so far.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it.
Whereas Allison is amazing, but she's going through a tough moment, I think, for sure.
Yeah. And poor old Viktor still on the path to ending the universe, it seems.
Exactly.
Chris, what about yourself?
I can't say much more than you guys. There's very much... it's essentially everything you've said is true, and I agree with. And... in the very sad joke, I got something in my pocket for you. It's a pocket full of lightning, because it's a great episode. There you go.
Excellent, Chris.
But with that terrible joke in the books, I think we need to go to the lounge, the Hotel Obsidian, and get this wiped out of our memories. So, Johners, should we do a pub quiz and have an old tipple?
I think so. Fellow quizzers, fellow brollies. Yeah, the Obsidian Lounge pub quiz question 3. What is the name of the newsstand where Luther buys chewing gum and condoms?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the now vendorless newsstand.
Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. And condomless as well, at this stage, because Luther grabs them all, I think.
He's taken a lot of them, yes.
He is... Yeah, it was all going very well for Luther until the Pulse sort of took everything out in the park. But yeah,
although he did get lots of free condoms.
He did, yes. But just to repeat, question 3, what is the name of the newsstand where Luther buys chewing gum and condoms? Send in your answer to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com and you will be shoved into the draw for all the Umbrella Academy related goodies at the end of the season.
Yes, looking forward to getting in some more answers for the pub quiz. There'll be a question with each episode. Just take down the answers to the questions and email them into us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries at the end of the season.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Please, indeedy. Just remember as well, this episode of the Umbrella Academy on TV Podcast Industries is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon, including Siren School. Thank you so much, Siren School, for supporting us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Siren School.
Yeah, thank you so much, Siren School, for the support on Patreon. Really, really appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes. As I said earlier, you can support us monthly for any amount over on patreon.com/TV Podcast Industries. Or if you'd like to support us with one-off donation, you can pop on over to buymeacoffee.com/TVPI and buy our illustrious editor-in-chief a coffee because we're doing a lot of content.
We'll hopefully slow down at some point in 2025.
Yes, that's yes. Right. You can also support us by subscribing to the podcast and sharing it with your friends, because sharing the podcast is what, Johners?
It's sharing the love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We have one piece of feedback for this episode, so we're going to jump straight back in. If you want to give us your feedback for any future episodes, you can go to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com and send us an email.
Absolutely. Or you can pop over to our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries. There's a spoiler post up for each episode of Umbrella Academy Season 3 where you can leave your thoughts, just like Dr. Bob Phillips did, who says, I'm shocked they found God in episode 3. I was expecting that to be episode 9 of the season. Still enjoying the development of 5, and I'm so delighted Lila's back. The fight in the spa was magnificent.
Indeed, it was.
Yeah, they really didn't waste any time for the Kugelblitz to be discovered by everybody. Everybody's seen it now. At least a member of the Umbrella Academy and a member of the Sparrow Academy has seen it. So it's there. It's just out there now.
Yeah, and of course, we see that Klaus has seen the Kugelblitz as well. So another member to have seen it and survived as well.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Just don't walk too close or stick your face against it, and you should be all right.
But it is God, according to Mum.
Exactly. Thanks, Dr. Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bob. You too can send us your feedback, as we said. Send it to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you stay subscribed to the podcast, and if you enjoy what you hear, why not share the podcast with your friends? We'll be back very soon with our discussions of episode 4 of Umbrella Academy.
What's it called, everybody?
Kugelblitz! Yeah.
Of course.
That's the only way. If you liked what you heard, don't forget, Derek has already mentioned at the beginning, there's also all of Miss Marvel covered on the show. Yes, there's also none other than The Boys Season 3. And we'll be back next month with Sandman and She-Hulk, so lots of content coming your way.
And if you've been to the cinema and watched Thor, Love and Thunder, our podcast about that is out as well. Go check that out. Talk to you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, great speaking to you, fellow Brawlies. Remember, keep watching, keep listening, and keep learning. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.